Hello, hello, and welcome to Unedited Chats. Yes, you have to turn your volume down.
Sorry.
I am Angie Peters, and I am here tonight with the sibling duo, Robyn Duncan and my husband, John Peters. Say hello.
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 I know. You have to use your mic.
Hello.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it won't cover.
It's just 20.
So we thought that it'd be a fun conversation to have with Robyn and John. Robyn and John have been around ministry their entire life. This has been their life. And I don't want to steal anything from you guys because we want to hear all the stories. What was it like being raised up in ministry?
When I was born, people just started getting saved. It was
Oh,
amazing.
yeah.
Oh,
Well,
go ahead.
I was thinking you go ahead.
Okay. It was different because it was Army. Dad was a chaplain, and I guess we went to Christian schools almost our whole lives,
Mm-hmm.
Or homeschooled.
or homeschooled.
I feel it's like all we ever knew.
Yeah, it's just all we ever knew. And then let's see, when I was 9 when Dad went into ministry.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, we've just kind of been around it forever.
Yeah.
But it's been neat because it's been diverse. Because, I mean,
yeah, very.
we started off Baptist. No, we weren't Baptist. We started off in a Baptist church,
Yes.
and then went to non-denominational. Then went to a full gospel church.
Which was loads of fun.
Loads of fun. And then we've just been around everything.
Yeah.
And you know, our grandparents. One of my grandparents was Catholic, and so we got to go to that because that was the best service ever. Because it was 30
Yeah.
minutes long.
I feel like we've gotten to see like almost every aspect of like what the church is. It's kind of good and bad because you do get conditioned, with some mindsets that aren't, I don't think God ever intended us to, have.
Yeah.
But I have lots of good memories growing up in ministry as far as like singing and playing. Well, you started playing in the gospel service, right?
Mhm.
When you started taking drum lessons?
Yep.
Okay. And then for me, my mom, my aunt, they played guitar and sang. And so we always it was like, hey, Robyn or Jen, come harmonize.
Yeah.
So we did that a lot. And then also my dad, he was assistant pastor at the Baptist church, and he always wanted us to do a special.
I forgot about those.
Yes.
With the track tapes.
Yes,
Yes.
we had the tapes. And so we had this little book that had all the little tapes in it. And so we
Oh
were
my
like, pick a
gosh.
song, do a special. So that was fun.
Yeah.
But you kind of learned performance
Okay.
at that,
Uh-huh.
and it's like, true worship. It was performance. It wasn't really worship. Maybe somebody got a little, it was all about hitting the right notes and,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And so probably not even really know what to compare it to because it was just normal life for you guys to
Yeah.
be in the church. And so tell me about, so your mom was a worship leader.
Yes.
And so tell me what it was like playing on mom's worship team, playing or singing.
You know what? It was awesome.
Yeah.
She was so easygoing and laid back. Now the drummer, we blamed everything on the drummer.
Yes, they did.
If anybody messed up, it's the drummer's fault. And he just took it in strides. He was always, sweet about it. But I do not remember a lot. If there was bad stuff, you better bring it up because I tend to forget.
No, I just remember if there was a mess up, I'd get like 5 heads turn around, look at me, and I was like, "What? I was on beat. What are you talking about?"
I remember one Sunday at the service in Fort Riley at one of the chapels where I don't know anything about anything musical, but I remember your mom stopping and turning around and staring at you. It was just such a funny moment to me because I was like, this is family. Like, this is their life. They don't really know
And
anything
I didn't even
different.
get mad. I was just like, "What?"
I know. He never did. And it's funny because I almost feel like singers, if they did have a big goof, if they could just blame it on the drummer, They felt like
That's
it
so
covered them or
funny.
something. I don't
That's
know.
because I had sticks I could throw at them. You know?
The drummer's a little bit further behind
Yeah.
than the singers. That's so
Yeah.
funny. Well, what I really felt like we were like being invited into as far as a conversation today was what it means to be called to come alive. And I know that you both are experiencing somewhat of a reawakening right now. And so I just wondered if you'd be willing to kind of like talk us through what's that like, what's it been like, and
Okay.
and where are you going?
Okay. I'm gonna back up a little bit because even though I was raised in worship, the first time I really um, had a chance to enter into what worship truly was Paul Shipman. And I remember that he used to tell me, because I was so shy. Um, I remember I would almost feel like I was going to faint when, before I would sing a song or something. And, the first note that came out was like, ah, you know, and then you got on track. But anyways, he used to say, what's the Holy Spirit saying to you? Just sing it out. And I'd be like, you want me to do what? Sing just what's in my heart. And that was so foreign to me because that I never experienced. But he was very relentless with it. And I think that was my first introduction into just like tapping into that presence and really pursuing it. And I guess in between now and then we've had some ups and downs with different things, but this whole time I just feel like God's been uh, drawing me and trying to teach me what worship really is and what it means to be in his presence and why we want to be there. All of these different things. And it's so funny because it got really complicated at one point and then now it's just sort of stripped down to simple. It's just about being with him. He's the one who made us and loves us. It's just about being next to your daddy, and I just when that sinks in, you begin to crave being there. And so I haven't really played piano in 2 years.
Wow.
Yes. And so my piano came in.
Yay.
I know. So I'm like, but I sat down at it and it was like riding a bike, and immediately I find myself, I had to go to work and all this stuff. And I found myself really being pulled to it because I know that on there, I just want to get into worship, so I can be in that place. But yeah, I don't know. I'm talking too much. Okay.
Good.
Yeah, you want to
So my first even though we were raised in a Christian home, when you I guess mature, I don't think I've ever been accused of being mature, but when you mature, you actually can come to a better understanding. And I remember when it became real for me was when we were youth pastors at a church, and it was a purpose driven church, and we basically were told that we had to re-preach sermons that were already preached to the teens, and it sucked. Can I say that? It
You can
sucked.
say
It was bad. And one night I just couldn't take it anymore, and you can call it rebellion or whatever you want to call it, but I was just like, I'm not doing this no more. And of all the things, I taught on Job, and I didn't really teach on Job. I just opened it up and started reading about Job and how all of his trials and stuff, and how he never sinned. And then at the end of Job, when God comes and he just kind of just showing off about how amazing he is, and it wasn't just that, it was the teens that helped, set that fire in me. They just got on fire. And that lasted for a couple years, 2-3 years. We were doing that. And then we started another church, and most of the teens came to that. That's a whole nother story. But and then church just it became more busy and more it just wasn't fun anymore for a while.
Mm.
If that makes sense. It lost its.
I feel like we get so busy with our programs and doing that we forget it's about the presence,
Hmm.
because and that's where it's
Well,
fun
we
and
weren't like
exciting.
on the worship with some of our worship. It wasn't we weren't worshiping to God. We were putting on a show, like you were talking
Yeah,
Mhm.
about.
yeah.
It was more performing, and
Too fast, three slow, you're out.
yeah, exactly. Bridge.
Yeah. Did you just throw up a hand sign? That's hilarious. I forgot about
And
those.
then and another experience I had, and this is what kind of got me back again. Um, we were fasting one time, and it was a 10-day fast, right?
Yeah.
And I work construction, and we were on a job, and I was in this corner, and um, it was kind of a corner where nobody could see you, so a lot of guys use it as their bathroom. And we were hanging siding, and I'm like, man, this is terrible. And but then we just were joking with some buddies, and all of a sudden this smell came over me. I was like, wow, what is that? And because it was beautiful, and I couldn't describe it, and I didn't think about it too much that day. And then the next day, it happened again, and then I realized it felt like Jesus was walking by, and I was smelling him.
Wow.
And have you?
What?
Use your
You
microphone.
too.
I have had that too, and
Yeah.
it's yeah, it's such a sweet fragrance.
It is.
Yeah,
Well, I was at
it's
work
pretty.
the other 2-3 weeks ago,
I think it was just a couple weeks ago. Yeah.
and I was mixing this stuff called Durabond, and it's very smelly. Has a very it stinks. Okay, I don't even know. It smells like a fart. Is what it smells like.
Sulfur.
That, and and I was on my knees mixing it up. I was actually cleaning it up because I just finished with it, and then that smell just came by me again. I'm like,
Mm.
no way. I think I texted you almost
You did.
immediately. I'm like, I smell him again, and it was pretty cool. I mean,
Yeah.
it was very, very cool actually. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, okay. So I want you to do your best to describe, because I think that there's people that experience being stuck. Would you agree that you guys have felt like you've been stuck over the last, bit of time? And
Yes.
so what is it like to go from that to the place that you're in now, where you feel, the only way I know to describe it is alive.
Yeah.
Like you have been, asleep for so long, and then suddenly you're just awakened to love.
So, like for me, um, golly, I went through this. It was literally over a year of feeling in this very drab, dry place, knowing that the feelings and things that were I was thinking weren't right. So logically, everything I know, God is good and He loves me very much. So it wasn't right, but I couldn't stop feeling them, and so I got to this place where I was like, God, I need you to help change that, and whatever I'm feeling right now, use it. Maybe I'm going to know what someone else feels like in a dry place. And I knew that trying wasn't going to get me out of it,
Yeah.
because that was the old method. Like, if I just try hard enough, if I just read enough scripture, whatever. So I felt like I was being asked to walk through that place. And your text to me was Jesus saying it's time.
Hmm.
That um, Angie had texted me, "How are you doing?" And usually I just say, "Doing good. How about you?" That's the pat answer. But this time I just felt compelled to tell her really how I was feeling. And then we took one of our walks and really got to talk out some stuff, and she just listened to me. And I knew a lot of the stuff that was coming out of my mouth was not true, but it was just how I felt, and just being able to tell someone who could process it rightly, it was freeing. And so from that moment on, I've just been feeling wanting to get closer and
Mm.
closer,
Mhm.
till now it's like I can't even be at work without wanting to be there. I honestly thought I'd never do worship again. I thought I was just done.
Mm-hmm.
But it's amazing when Jesus says, "No, you're not." I am beginning to realize it has nothing to do with anybody's talents or abilities.
Yeah.
It is really, it's just a gift, and I just need to, we just trust in Him to
Yeah.
to provide it. So, anyways, it's yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
Coming alive.
Yeah.
The scary part is I know I'm just peeping my eyes open.
Yeah.
And it's already so good. So dang, I don't know when I really get when I open them both up.
Well, I mean,
Oh.
from where I'm sitting, it's just like this phenomenal thing that's transpiring, just it really watching both of you. And so it's just fun to be like on the front row watching the things take place. There's this like transformation happening, and it's like, and I'm not, not that you guys were like,
No, I know.
down in the depths of despair or anything like that. I mean, I've enjoyed you, but it's just it's so fun to watch people come alive in Jesus, like more alive
It's
than
a
they
weight.
have
It
been.
feels
Yeah.
like a weight off. And the other thing that's strange is when someone asks me to do something I'm seriously uncomfortable with doing, I just feel compelled to be like, yeah, sure. And not where I always want to have everything worked out just so perfect and planned.
Mhm.
And I'm just like, yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's funny because I'm opposite now. Um, I'm a people pleaser,
Hmm.
you know, and with we had some pretty phenomenal years at a church,
Yeah.
very phenomenal, and stuff just didn't work out, and then we ended up at another church, and it felt like a business more
Mm.
than anything,
It
and
served its purpose, I feel.
it did, and that's what I'm getting to. I just didn't want to be around Christians,
Ah.
basically.
Ugh.
Because people that didn't go to church or weren't religious or whatever were more real to me.
Mm.
There wasn't a show, and I feel like I'm coming back not to being a people pleaser, because I have no problem saying no to people now.
Mm.
I really don't. I mean, if I don't want to do it, I'm not gonna do it, except for my wife. But if it didn't even end, sometimes.
Except for his mom. Let's just be honest here.
Yeah. Okay, there's mom.
He can't tell her no.
I like her. If that didn't come out right, I'm sorry.
No, I know what you meant.
But and now I'm learning to. It's not that I'm learning to love people again. I'm learning to like them
Sure.
all over again.
Do you ever feel like you're looking? I've been learning to look past people
Yes.
and see what God's doing. Like I'm almost able to look at a person and see like the journey sitting beside them,
Mm.
and good or bad, it's like it's not them. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of looking at them and I don't know, seeing all the
Allowing what has happened
or
tarnish who
or
they
what they're
are.
saying to
Right.
me. Maybe
Yeah.
what they're saying to me is like, you know, not that again, type of thing.
Right.
But it's like, so there's a really true compassion that comes out when you learn to love them like Jesus loves them.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes when I feel those feelings of, I just don't want to be around you, type of thing, I'm like, Jesus, please, I need your love for this person. And he always meets that every time,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
every time.
Every time. And then we really don't even have to try that hard.
No, I stopped trying.
Yeah.
I tried way too much before, and it was a lot of anxiety.
It's exhausting.
Yes,
Yeah.
too hard. So I'm like, I'm done trying. And
And see, it's usually been pretty easy for me. I mean, to the point where sometimes it drives her nuts. I mean, I'll have especially older people come up to me and just, hey, and I'm hey back and just hanging out with them. And I don't have to try,
mhm.
but it was around Christians that I had to try. I had to try to figure out, you know, do I got to watch my mouth around this person so I don't cause drama? Because, I speak my mind a lot,
Mhm.
and, when you're around people that are real, you can be you and be
Mhm.
comfortable with who you are,
Yeah.
you know, and, Now I don't care. I don't care about offending Christians anymore, if that makes sense. I'm not going out of my way to offend. I'm just saying,
You know, you feel like when you feel like you cannot be who you are, you feel like you're in a prison. And that's actually what I feel Jesus releasing me from
Yeah.
is a prison of pleasing men. And now all I really care about is meeting with God and being with Him and pleasing Him. And I'm saying I don't even have that. There's so much more ahead, I know.
Yeah.
But just realizing that I'm able to get out of that box
Mhm.
is freedom.
Yeah. Yeah. So I feel like I'm putting you guys on the spot a lot. I realize that, but I feel like there's something that the both of you carry that is so similar, and like not that would be normal for siblings to carry, but I almost even feel like, and I don't think this is a stretch by any measure, that like where Robin and John go, so goes the church, kind of thing. And I feel like you guys specifically coming alive means so much more than we realize that it means. Like, am I making sense?
Yes.
Yeah, you're really lucky to have us. Is what you're saying.
Absolutely. That's exactly what I was intending to say, is that we are 100% blessed to have Robin and John.
No, I have always been pulled to be where he is.
Yeah.
Always. If he goes somewhere, I want to follow. And I've actually tried. My little John tried not to follow you because I thought, well, maybe that's my problem. I need to stop following people around and do my own thing. No, it didn't work. I still wanted to follow. So it's almost compelling
Mm-hmm.
for me.
Well, and we've always been pretty real with each other. I mean, we had wars when we were little kids.
Yeah, fist fights.
I mean, we beat the crap out of each other. Well, I got the crap beat out of me, and I
You got
don't-
a few good.
I got a
swings in.
couple in, but mainly it was I was resisting.
Basically, we damaged
You wouldn't
something.
believe it. You wouldn't believe it to listen to her sweet voice up here on stage, and honestly, her sweet demeanor today that she has. But I knew her when she was ornery, and the stories that they tell, and they're the same stories, over and over, told throughout the years. But
Funnier
I'm
the
like,
older we get.
yeah, they do get embellished a little bit. But yeah, my favorite, I think, is was it deodorant that you and Jen put on socks and shoved in his mouth or something?
No. It was his dirty socks.
Oh, there was something about deodorant.
No, there was toothpaste,
Yes, and then Robin one time tried to heal John's eyes with
which
toothpaste.
had no problem with them.
Yes,
In
there was
my
nothing
offense,
wrong with
I
his
was
eyes.
4.
We had just heard the story about Jesus
Putting the mud on.
spitting in dirt, making mud, and she thought toothpaste would be a good alternative.
Oh, poor kid.
Yeah. But anyway, I just think that there's something so supernatural that you carry. Actually, I think it's on your entire family, and because it's like when one of you is down, both of you are. I mean, have you noticed that like you guys journey together throughout the time? I mean, and I can only observe that because I've been around
Yes,
for it. Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah, I was telling my kids about they get into conflicts with each other and it's more of a tattling session. I'm like, why don't you guys just get some boxing gloves and duke it out? That's what we did. Then we damage the furniture and have to come together real quick and figure out a story.
We would
tell mom and dad.
We would go to war and be best friends in 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Right afterwards, because we'd jack something up or something, and we had to come up with a story so we wouldn't get killed. But I mean, but it never. We'd go to war, but it would never hold over. There was forgiveness very quickly.
Yeah.
And love, and then we would do some stupid stuff
We were
together.
always getting into trouble.
Oh my gosh.
I'm
not even telling those stories. They'll still get to mom, and I'm still kind of frightened of her finding out. And I'm 44.
Yeah, we
Kalita, I'll tell her she's watching.
Yeah, Kalita's on. Kalita, what happens on Unedited Chats stays there.
Too funny.
Oh,
I feel like because we're so close in age and we really grew up together,
Yeah.
got in trouble together,
It's true.
got the Holy Ghost together, all of those things because we got married very young, and then our families just have always grown up with each other.
Mm-hmm.
So I I've almost sometimes felt like we could have been twins or something,
Mm-hmm.
like that
Yeah.
pulling that happens to
Yeah.
twins. And so, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
I'm the pretty one.
I knew that as
Yes.
soon
I'm
as
the pretty
as soon
twin.
as Robyn started having like these just big encounters with the presence of God and just I mean like seriously people I know you're not supposed to necessarily be watching people in the middle of worship but just so broke open before the Lord and I thought to myself oh my gosh it's only a matter of time before the whole family is like broke open and completely radical before the Lord. And I'm thinking even of our kids. You and I had a conversation just the other day about our kids. Like, how is it that our kids don't know any more about
Yeah.
Jesus than they do? But I think that there's been something spiritual that has been over the family for a while now. And
Yeah.
I can feel it dissipating. Like it's
Yeah.
coming off, and our kids are starting to get curious about things
Yeah.
and wanting to know more about God.
I feel like worship is honestly the key. I just know so a few of my kids are wired that way, and I know a few of your kids,
Mhm,
and I feel like that is where we met. Uh,
mhm.
really got slapped with Jesus was in a worship environment, would you
Yeah.
say?
Mm.
And I just know in my heart that that is what's going to pull them because they need the presence to have that encounter.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I'm just like so ready to see that happen.
Mhm.
So that's I have a secret plan to pull them into
That's the secret, the
It's my-
vortex.
yes,
We're
the
using the
portal.
presence of God
Yes.
to suck our children.
Do you know what? Every time I'm in a room and I would start to play my piano and worship, before I knew it, I'd collected like at least three of my kids
Yeah.
by me, and they're just so interested.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, so that might be the thing you're talking about, it
Mhm.
being on them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
It's funny because I've played with a lot of really, really good musicians, and I'm not knocking you, but my most joy I ever have is playing with you.
Mm.
And I mean, and I've played with some studs,
yeah.
but there's a freedom and a joy of just,
Yeah.
I don't care if I mess up, I don't care if you mess up.
Yeah.
It's not why I'm doing it,
It's just a
Right.
purity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you
I
know.
honestly, for the first time in many, many years, and I mean many years, I feel like that is coming again,
Mm.
and makes my heart very, happy
Mhm.
and just, yeah, just I can't explain how that feels.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah. That's awesome.
mhm.
Any last words you'd want to share with the people that are following this evening? Either of you?
I just think they're lucky to have us. I mean,
We've established this.
I just want to reiterate it.
John really likes John.
No. No, I'm looking forward to the adventure. I mean, it feels like um I don't know, like something is starting that you get to be a part of. You're not the center of it, you're just a part of it, and you're going to watch all this stuff happen.
Mm.
And um I'm excited.
I just feel like even though I don't know many of you, um, I feel like God is putting such a love in my heart for you, even not knowing
Mm.
you. And lately, something I've been experiencing is He's been allowing me to feel people's joys and pains
Mm.
in a really personal way. And I think it's just, um, it just makes me excited to know that we're in this together. And
Yeah.
yeah, and we just pull on. I loved what you were talking about on Sunday, pulling on each other,
Mhm.
and pulling and pushing. You were talking about
Yeah.
pushing,
Pushing.
but I think about pulling,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
so it's like both.
Yeah. Well, and I think that when we do push past all of that
Well, I think
stuff,
you
it
pulled on,
pulls.
yeah, I think you pulled on me big time.
Yeah.
But then I had to make choice.
You do. You have to agree.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and there's always those special people in your life that will pull on you. My husband too. He just was so patient with me in that ridiculous. It wasn't right,
Mm-hmm.
but it was just really where I was.
Yeah.
And I think allowing myself to be in that ridiculous place,
Right.
actually maybe might go a long way to helping me be real in my faith.
Yeah. Well,
So,
and the thing is I think that we as Christians, especially in our Kansas nice culture, we're not honest with each other. We allow a lot more to go on than what we think should go on. And but I think that we're moving into a day where God's going to prompt us a lot quicker to call one another out in love, obviously, but
Mhm.
because we want to see them come alive. And so that's what I mean, that's where I think we're going. I think that we are the ones who God is raising up to pull out the greatness in one another, and that's going to require us to be honest. Like, knock it off.
I've been feeling like it's so important right now for us to hear God's voice,
Yes.
so that we can know the direction we're supposed to go. So I've been trying to listen in the pick up that trash, put your shopping cart back,
Yes.
those little things.
Make
Make some
macaroni and cheese.
But-
on Sunday night, it's just the silliest thing ever. On Sunday night, God showed me myself making macaroni and cheese on Wednesday. And it was like one of those things where you're like, okay, God, okay, and just not really thinking about it beyond that because it was so simplistic. I could have just like, okay, that's silly, and not done it. But I called John this morning. I'm like, this is just still nagging at me, and I need to just do it. I'm like, I'm saying this to you because I need to go buy the items to make macaroni and cheese because Jesus has ordered it.
Yes.
And so I did, and I mean, there's macaroni and cheese downstairs if you'd like some.
Sweet.
And knew that it couldn't just be, the box stuff, that Jesus wanted some gourmet macaroni and cheese tonight. So that's what we did. We made macaroni and cheese and let people know, hey, we've got food if you're hungry. I didn't even know what the purpose was, but it's exactly like that, where
Yes.
I have no idea why on earth I'm making macaroni and cheese other than the fact that he asked me to.
I've had some, strange off the wall kinds of things. And admittedly, sometimes I have blown them off and been like, oh, that's kind of silly. But I've been recognizing lately that no, those are things that you need to obey, even if they seem silly, because we're going to get asked to do some radical things here in the future. And if we can't say yes to something simple and silly, how are we going to do anything radical?
Right. What are you giggling about over there?
Well, I was just thinking, I was working on that a few weeks ago, just listening, and he asked me to pick a piece of trash up. I already walked by, and I'm like, fine. I actually had a fit with God.
That's hilarious. That is funny. I think that you're right, Robyn. I think that he's just really fine tuning us to his voice, and really raising up obedience in us, and that takes courage. I think I just read that the other day somewhere, that obedience takes courage. It was Christine Kane said obedience takes courage, and she's right. It does take courage. It takes courage to make macaroni and cheese, apparently. Not really, but to do the bigger things, because I don't know what he's going to ask me to do next, but I'm sure that it could take some boldness to follow through and make it happen.
And if it doesn't make sense at the time, it doesn't matter.
Right.
So I could actually see a lot of purpose
in making macaroni and cheese.
Yes, I do.
Of course she does.
I know. That does not surprise me.
That's good.
Oh, goodness. Well, should we wrap it up?
Yes.
Have anything else you want to say? Well,
I'm
guys,
good.
thanks for agreeing. I know it was like super last minute, but this has been fun, like just to have you on here. And John was all in. He was like, yeah. And then it was kind of, he was egging Robyn on to answer the question. Come on, it'll be fun.
Yeah.
We're doing this.
Okay, so this is proof that good stuff is happening, because normally I'd be like, interview what?
She didn't even ask questions. She didn't even ask questions. She was just like, okay, would you like me there at whatever time? And then she got tied up at work tonight, and John goes, "Ooh, this is gonna be good." Like, anytime things don't start on time, we're always like, what's Jesus got planned here? But it has been good. It's just been good to hear from different voices and know what it is that God is doing and just kind of what you see happening around us. So anyway, I'm gonna pray for us and for the people watching. Ah, Jesus, we just thank you that you bring us along, that you don't just want, submissive kids that sit around and adore you, but you partner with us and you ask us to be your hands and your feet. And we're just so thankful that you include us in that you are raising us up in obedience, and we want nothing more than to hear your voice and act on it. And so, Jesus, I just pray a blessing over the people watching and the people in the room, that you would just surround them with your presence, that they would feel your tangible presence all around them throughout the rest of the evening, that they would just be able to enter into a space of worship and begin to just adore you. Jesus, thank you for everything that you're doing in our lives. Amen. Have a great rest of your Wednesday night, guys, and we will see you back here sometime. I don't know when. Bye.